You are here this week. You are both getting Volta Awards from the Dublin Film Festival. You guys have done it all. I mean, you've done it all, nominations, awards. Do awards mean anything at this stage of your careers, or...?
Oh, I mean, I can't speak for Ed, but yes, of course they do. I mean, it's always a wonderful acknowledgement that maybe you're doing something right, you know, that maybe you've, like, touched some people, or, you know, you've made some small difference here or there, you know, as an actor. And I think that, I mean, because I don't know about you, I never made money doing this stuff. So, I mean, the idea of, like, being acknowledged for your work is what is, yeah, that's the reward, really.
Is it harder to be a screen actor and be a star and have a normal life the way the world has changed?
I just skulk around. People don't bother me. You know? I always have a hat, and I just...
You wouldn't approach him on the street.
I just kind of hide out, you know.
Whenever you were starting out, Jessica, I mean, there was no CGI. I was reading, you know, a story about you spending months in a mechanical hand whenever you were doing, you know, King Kong.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, looking back on that now and seeing how the process has completely changed, what are your memories of that?
We were still shooting, like, a few weeks before the film was released, because of all the mechanical problems and just the logistics of it and the hydraulic hand and the, I mean, but there was something about it that was fantastical, you know, it was make-believe, it was, now everything is just done on a computer. There's no comparison. I think the richness and the life that you see in the older films, certainly King Kong would be one of them, but many with the early special effects, I mean, are much more impressive in a way than what we see now.
I mean, in the modern movie world, Ed, you know, you've got all these special effects, but ultimately, when it comes down to you making your decisions, I mean, you guys can pretty much choose whatever you want to do. Is it always...
Really?
Until you get to Ireland for a day and the money runs done. Is it people that you know, fuels those decisions for you, who you work with these days?
Very much so. I mean, it's a script and who you work with. I mean, it's wonderful to work with people that you enjoy working with and that are generous and open and good at what they do. It makes a big difference. And it's also great to work with directors that have vision, you know, that have a real point of view about something, that you feel you're in good hands, you know, because your job is really to try to help them succeed in putting their vision on the screen. That's your job. And so when you're working with somebody who you really trust and that you believe in what they are trying to do, it makes a whole difference in the world. Yeah.
Before we let you go, Jessica, you have to settle an argument for us Irish people.
Oh.
You have worked with three Irish heartthrobs over the years. Liam Neeson, Gabriel Byrne, and Pierce Brosnan. Obviously, you're the person that we'd like to know. Who do you think is the number one out of those three?
You're not really going to ask me this, are you?
I'm going to ask it, but I don't know whether you're really going to answer it.
Probably not. I mean, look, each one came at a very specific time in my life with a very specific part. I mean, with Liam doing Rob Roy, which I know it's a historical drama, but it was also a love story. So that's, you know, and he was running around in a kilt. It was like, what's wrong with that?
What's not to love?
Really. Gabriel, you know, I did a Long Day's Journey on stage. And, you know, when you work on stage with somebody, you have this, you're there like 8 times a week. You're week after week after week. You've done 5 weeks rehearsal and previews and a long run. So there is a kind of an affinity, you know, a connection that you feel that doesn't always happen when you do a film and you're done in, you know, 8 weeks or whatever. And then with Pierce, you know, it was a very tiny little film that we did in a very, I mean, a lovely little relationship between them, but I got to ask him to kiss me, and that was awfully nice, too. So, yeah, it was all good, all 3 of them. I highly recommend all of them.
There you go.